Welcome to Newsmakers. I'm your host, Lisa Oligus. In this edition, we learn about MASH Camp. It is a program that gives high school youth a chance to observe and practice skills in medical settings to help them determine if it's the career path for them. We will visit with coordinators, representatives from participating hospitals, and visit with a student who has gone through the program 2 times already. To get the conversation started, we welcome Heather Booth, who is the camp organizer and health careers coordinator for the Southwest Missouri Area Health Education Center. Heather, welcome.
Thank you so much for having us.
So we're talking about MASH Camp. Tell us what MASH stands for when it comes to MASH Camp, because it's an acronym.
It is. So it started back in 1994, and it stands for Missouri AHEC Science and Health Camp. And just like you described, it's an exploratory camp for students that want to learn more about the healthcare field and kind of, get their feet wet and see if it's something that might be a good fit for them.
So AHEC is the organization you work for, and tell us what that stands for and what area it serves in our area.
Sure. So the Area Health Education Centers have been around in the state of Missouri since 1988. We are both federally and state funded. There are 7 AHEC centers in the state of Missouri. The southwest corner of Missouri has 21 counties that we cover, and we have been doing MASH camps down here since 2000. Over the course of the years that we've been having them, we've had 64 total camps with a little over 1,200 students in attendance just here in Southwest Missouri.
So, 20 years, that's a long time for a program.
It is.
Education-based program.
It is.
So how many students, you mentioned it, can go through at one time, during a camp week?
So that kind of depends on our host sites. Usually it's between 30 to 40 students at each camp.
So this year's session will be held at 3 locations with MSSU, Mercy, and Freeman Health System all hosting. Why is it important to have coordination with your local hospitals?
Well, we want students to get a good experience from all the regional different areas. So, when we think about it, they're going to have to go through the educational side to get into the career fields that they're interested in. So it's important for them to, get to visit Missouri Southern and look at the different programs and opportunities here and visit with the practitioners and the faculty and staff. And they love doing hands-on activities. So anytime you can get them active and kind of figuring out what a day in the life of that practitioner would be like, they're, really into that, get really engaged. And then also the hospital systems give a great opportunity for them to see behind the scenes. They go on hospital tours, they get to meet with the practitioners, they get to use some of the same tools that they will use in their daily jobs, and just do a lot of hands-on activities.
So give me a basic idea of how it can work. Do students go to each location when they're part of the camp, or do they do it one day?
So they'll go to each location. So the cohort of up to 40 students will start at Missouri Southern, and then they'll have a day at Freeman, and then they'll have a day at Mercy.
So what's the overarching goal of this effort? What are we trying to really get across with these students?
So the whole goal even of AHEC as a whole is to increase access to quality health care in the state of Missouri, especially preventative care and primary care. And one of the ways that we do that is exposing students to opportunities in healthcare fields and growing and developing and supporting that healthcare workforce in Missouri.
Does it help them realize maybe choices they have in the healthcare field? Like, I think I want to be a doctor. Oh, but maybe I'm not so sure.
Absolutely. And one of the goals is that many students, all that they've personally been exposed to are doctors and nurses through, basic checkups. My clinical background is actually in nutrition as a dietitian. The majority of students I speak to have no idea what a dietitian is, nor what we do to help patients. And, there's so many people that work behind the scenes in the hospital that make it work. Running a hospital is very much like running a small city. They have electricians and bioengineers and IT people, as well as people that you don't necessarily see on a regular basis working behind the scenes, like pharmacists, or the people that work in the lab that run all the tests. So it gives them some exposure to those healthcare careers that maybe they've never heard of or even considered.
It seems like it can be a rare opportunity, but students can take part in this more than one time. Do they get a different experience each time that they would do this camp?
They do. So especially when I'm advising students, I say, go and shadow with multiple practitioners. No one's going to practice the same way. Everyone has kind of a different spin, different personality of how they practice within their profession. So every time they attend, they're going to meet different professions and different people practicing within those professions. And often we'll incorporate different activities and facets of what they do within. So they may say, come multiple years and meet a nurse nurse working in different areas of the hospital or with different patients and learn different things about the different aspects of the nursing career.
Tell us about signups and how they can register, and is there a deadline?
Sure. So they will register online. Our website is ahec.missouri.state.edu, and then we have a page that's specifically talking about our Missouri AHEC Science and Health camps. So they just click on that page, and then they'll register online for whichever camp they would like to attend. And then the registration deadline is just 1 week before camp. So our camp in Joplin is August 2nd through 4th, so just 1 week prior would be our deadline for registration.
All right. Well, Heather Booth, thank you so much for telling us all about it, and we're going to have more discussion. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us.
We will talk to one of the students later, but up next we will visit with Dr. Sherry Whiteman, the Program Director of Respiratory Care here at MSSU, which will host day 1 of MASH Camp. We'll be back. Welcome back. This year's Joplin MASH Camp begins here at Missouri Southern State University on Wednesday, August 2nd. Coordinating the day of learning and experiences is Dr. Sherry Whiteman, who has many titles here, including Department Chair for Allied Health, Program Director for Respiratory Care, Temporary Program Director for Radiology, and the MSSU FTC Consortium for Respiratory Care Education. Thanks for joining us, Dr. Whiteman.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
So busy.
Very busy, very busy.
So, will all of your departments be represented at this camp? Will we be talking respiratory?
Yes, we'll be talking about respiratory and radiology. We've also invited kinesiology to participate. The cadaver lab will be part of our experiences on MASH Camp Day, and a few other things like simulation.
Which is a lot of hands-on experience.
Yes.
And so when they go to that, will they get to try out some of the equipment? What will they get to do?
Yeah, we're really aiming to make this very immersive for the students on campus. And so we've all been talking amongst ourselves, trying to identify the best hands-on opportunity for all the students. So when they visit the cadaver lab, they'll get to, see the cadavers, and then we hope to bring them back to the main building so we can do some bronching of the pig lungs. That's where you take a video camera and you put it down inside the pig lungs and take a look at the real tissues.
Wow.
We're talking about wearing a simulator for trach patients that have an artificial airway in their neck, letting the students wear that because it will cue them when to cough and things like that. So they'll get to be having some experience being a live patient for us and also doing a skill and a few other things as well. So we're really excited about the hands-on piece.
And it gives you a chance to show the students how they can learn about the medical fields here at Missouri Southern. And is that an important component? Does MASH Camp really help you kind of prepare people for how to learn about it, the medical world and what they would do when they come to college?
Yeah, absolutely. So the thing that the students will be able to really take away from this is, number one, how many programs we have in healthcare here at Missouri Southern. Number two, the quality equipment and immersive spaces that we have that, we're kind of a hidden gem over here. And we'll get to really showcase those fantastic items that we have. And then number three, they'll get to work really closely with some of our high quality faculty, and they'll get to understand what that classroom is going to feel like and what their time in the program with that faculty member is going to feel like. And I think that's really important.
Do you think the MASH Camp helps confirm for students that they want to go into medicine? And
Yes.
How does it work in that regard?
Yeah, because I think sometimes we have this maybe idea of what a field is going to be like, and then once we start doing the hands-on pieces, students start to realize, oh, that's something I really love, or that's not what I thought this was at all. Mm-hmm. For myself and personal experience, that was me in high school.
Really?
I wanted to be in one healthcare profession. I did some time in college and some work and discovered that's not the profession for me. And so I transitioned to respiratory therapy, and that's been the best thing that ever happened. And so through these types of experiences, students won't, lose some time in college because we're exposing them early. So they
Right.
know if that's a good fit for them.
Does it also give them an idea of the classes they can take
Yes.
in high school that would prepare them for the college scene too?
Yes, absolutely. We're hoping to have some discussions about dual credit opportunities that will serve them well, what classes they have to have before they enter a program. We're going to do some case study work so they get a feel for some of the programs are not as hands-on as others, so we're going to do some case studies and things like that so they can really understand the depth of what they could do.
How do you think, you mentioned that they would like get the whole idea of being a trach patient. Is it helpful for them to get the patient perspective too?
I very much believe that. Compassion is something that can't always be taught. And I think going through that experience where you have a few minutes where you're the patient can really change a perspective about how you're going to practice in the future. So we love to use life patients as much as possible when we're doing our teaching.
I bet does that surprise students as
It
to some of the
does.
things that, oh, you can do that here?
It does. So one time I actually used my own sister and I didn't tell my students. And she's a healthcare practitioner herself. And they were very surprised, and it changed their entire way that they approached the scenario we were working with that day.
How often do students who train here at Missouri Southern end up working at our local hospitals? I mean, they're a big employer, correct?
Absolutely. I would say almost 100% of the time. Most of the students want to stay local and work in Joplin, Neosho, Lamar, Carthage, all of those local facilities. Every so often we get some that want to go back home, Kansas City, St. Louis, but they still stay connected to the area even then.
How important is it that these young students can start making those connections with medical professionals?
Oh, very important. Those medical professionals will be their colleagues for the rest of their life. They connect on social media and they connect in person, and so those people become mentors and friends and lifelong colleagues, and so that connectedness needs to start as early as possible.
And we have a lot of new things happening here at Missouri Southern that by the time they would become students might be opening to them. I mean, the new building where the cadaver lab will be expanded.
Yes.
How do you think giving them a chance to give a taste of it and say, hey, look what's coming soon, does that help?
Absolutely. We're very excited. There's the Health Science Innovation Center that's currently in progress, and it will have a simulation hospital where all of the opportunities available in a hospital will be simulated here on campus to an even higher degree than what we already do. And so the students will get a true feel for hospital work before they ever set foot in the hospital, and getting to show them what we're looking at, and using virtual reality more and more. The cadaver lab will be in there, and those types of things. You can't get more immersive than that.
Yeah. Lots of real world experiences. And then, of course, then we also partner with the hospitals for them to get training there. So all of this kind of tells them what's available to them.
Yes, and then the students are ready when they go to work for the hospitals. They already know what technology is out there, so we're prepping solid workers for the future.
Well, thank you, Dr. Sherry Whiteman, for sharing your report.
Thank you.
When we come back, we will find out what's planned for Match Camp 2023 at Freeman and Mercy Hospitals as we go to break, how you can sign up for this year's Match Camp. Our local hospitals in Joplin routinely take part in educating the medical providers of the future. MASH Camp gives them a chance to teach an even younger group about healthcare careers. Joining us to talk about the activities planned at the hospitals are Angela Kennedy from Mercy Hospital Joplin and Ashley Jones-Scroggins with Freeman Health System. Welcome, ladies. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us.
So what kinds of opportunities will students have when they visit your hospitals? Angela, you can talk about what kind of plans you have, where they'll visit.
Sure, yes. We're going to start out with some breakfast with the kiddos, and then we're going to jump right into some activities. We're going to do various different activities in the morning and afternoon. We're going to have some time with our lab department, spend quite a bit of time with them. We're going to do a tour of our facilities, including down in the basement area and even rooftop with a rooftop photo. And afternoon, we're going to work on some dissection and time in the OR, and they're going to learn so much for the day.
Seeing a lot of the backside of the hospital.
They are.
Is it important that kids get that hands-on? I mean, you talked about dissection and seeing the lab. I mean, labs are a really critical part of a hospital. Testing is a major aspect of anyone's healthcare. Why do you think it helps for them to see that up close and personal?
kids learn, I believe, by hands-on mostly. So it's a great opportunity for the kids to see the tools that they use, the people, working with their hands and how that relates to the patients. I believe that's how they learn the best, and that's what they enjoy.
Yeah, they have a good time. Ashley, so Freeman will be day 3 of the MASH camp. What is going to be the focus when students visit the hospital?
We're going to have a different set of things kind of going on. We're going to do respiratory therapy. They're going to look at a pig lung. We're also going to do a little bit of lab. We're bringing in Ozark Center for some child psychology type lecture. And then we're also doing mobility and balance testing. So they'll have some activities there, and nutrition's coming in to do some like dietitian type things. So we really want to show them all the other things besides just what we think of as doctors and nurses. We really want to say this is really a village to make this place run, and give them the opportunities to see all the things that you can do, even administratively, because we aren't clinical, but we are very essential to the hospital also, and the people that we work with. So we want to let them see a little bit different side of that.
Do you think students don't realize how many medical careers there are? I mean, even if, they may get overwhelmed with the idea of, oh, I'd have to go to school for 8 years to be a doctor, but they still want to maybe work with patients. Are there certain other jobs, maybe nurse practitioners, or even in an office that they could be exposed to this way?
Absolutely. There's so many different jobs you could do. I wish I would have known about many more of those when I was younger. Between the lab and the nutrition is a great job to start when you're going to schools, because then you're still around patients, and that food service is just as important. People have to eat, and there are very diet restrictions. We have our medical assistance program that gets them out in the clinic, so they see a little different environment, and we have that apprenticeship too. There's so many opportunities to do, maybe while they're still going to school, or if this is just the career that they want.
So let's talk about, how does this help you as a hospital to maybe in the recruiting world? I mean, do you think it really helps to put students on the path of a medical career if they find out young? This is middle school, high school age.
We're finding that, locally at least, that kids are making those career decisions younger and younger. It's something that that my own children went through, where they're getting college education in high school now. And so they are making those decisions younger. So offering things like this, where they, at a young age, that they can come and, find out what opportunities there are for them, and then also learn what education they would need for that. It's really beneficial for the kids, for the students.
Especially with all the opportunities that they're offering in high schools now, that they can take some different career paths. So we want to get a hold of them soon and be like, hey, this might be something actually for you. And each hospital has their different uniqueness about them, and here's the opportunities that are at each hospital too, and the different cultures and the different things about them. So it's a great opportunity for them to see that too, and they're kind of picking their career path and which way they want to go with it.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's resulted in hiring for you guys? I mean, this has been going, MASH camp's going on for 20 years. Have MASH camp participants ended up working at the hospitals?
They have, yes. Yeah, we've seen that. We have students that are working for us now that are either in college or moved on and have completed their education and are coming to work for us. It's really amazing to see those students at the end of the day of MASH camp. They will tell us, I didn't know how many different career opportunities there are, even locally and at Mercy. So yeah.
You never know what experience might draw them to that. Like I didn't know, and I went to this one day of MASH camp, and now I'm excited to be in this career. You never know what's going to kind of click with them. So getting in front of them as soon as we can is a great way to get future employees, and we're all going to need healthcare. So we need future workers also.
Yeah. Do you think that students come up, I mean, can it also be confusing? Like, oh, I thought I wanted to do this, but now I see other things?
Definitely. I've warned a few of them when we've done some job shadows or something, like, don't change your entire career path just over this 1 hour of job shadow. Do a little more research, look into that. But no, there's some other options, and we've done a few, like Freeman Health Academy, we did that. And so it got kind of the same experience. But then they might have changed their mind by the end of the week because they just didn't know it existed, that position.
How do you think it helps to have your workers, your staff, make that connection to the student? Is that important? Like, seeing a nurse in the real day-to-day.
Yeah, absolutely. And they love it. They enjoy it so much. It takes them away from their day-to-day that they do, and they love to teach at the hospital. All of the different types of careers at the hospital, love to teach that to those students. But it's good for them, and it's good for the student to see, that in action. This is this is what the day-to-day life would be if I chose this career.
Do you think that helps ground the people who are in healthcare to say, hey, this is why I do what I do?
Exactly. I think it brings that passion back out to them. Like this, they want to share that. I mean, they're our best advertisers for their position. Like, you will get to do this, and there's these amazing things you can do. So we want those employees to really be sharing that with the students, so that they get a feel of what it's like to really do that job.
How important is it to nourish that spark of an interest in a student? Do you think it helps when they just get that, real world, touching, feeling kind of thing? Does that make a difference as to, I think I want to go into this career?
Definitely. Just that awareness of what it could be, and getting just a taste of it could just change their whole life path, essentially.
Yeah. And they could read about it, right? They could read about it and learn about it. They could go to school and be educated on it. But the most important and the best tool is to have that hands-on education.
Is this a lot of planning for you guys to get this all coordinated? I mean, they have multiple stops during this day when they are there.
Like we said, it takes a village to run a hospital. It takes a village to put this on too, between Heather and the MASH camp group, and then getting our employees involved. And we need all hands on deck, and we need their support and assistance and all that too.
Yeah, and it's everyone. Everyone's been involved in the planning at the hospital, from our administration to our dietitians, planning what we're going to feed the group when they come, to planning the activities. So yeah, everyone's really excited, but we come together as a team to plan it.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you both for sharing what's going to be happening at your hospitals.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Just ahead, we hear about the impact of MASH Camp from a student who has attended twice and wants to go again. MASH Camp is an opportunity for students in grades 9 through 12 to see multiple aspects of healthcare operations to decide if the field is right for them. What's the impact? Well, we find out now from Bailey Peoples. A student has participated in MASH Camp twice and is applying again. And we're joined as well by Bailey's mom, Nicole Peoples. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. So you went in middle school when it was offered then, and now you're in high school.
Yes.
You're a sophomore going into sophomore year? So what did you like about MASH Camp? What did you think about it?
It was really fun. I liked how we got to do it with our peers and learn more about the opportunities of going into medical field.
So initially, what was your interest in medicine? What did you think you wanted to do?
I've always wanted to do something with the heart, like cardiologist. That's what I want to do and stuff.
And do you think you want to be a doctor, or just now that you've sort of gotten to explore this, did it change your mind as to what you might want to do?
It opened up more opportunities and made me learn more about other jobs in the medical field. So, yeah.
So why do you want to go back this year? Because you've gone twice, or is each time a little bit different?
I think each time we do different stuff. The first year I went, we did dissections, and the last year I went, we did CPR on mannequins and stuff. So it's been just really fun.
And you've learned something while you were there, obviously.
Yes.
What do you think did it change your mind about? Or you still want to do cardiology?
I still want to do cardiology, but it just opened up other opportunities for me to learn about other jobs in the medical field.
What do you think, Mom? When she came home from MASH Camp the first time, how was it? What was it like? Was she just bubbling over with what she learned?
So she really was. It was really neat to see her excitement and joy. I work in the medical field and have been with MASH Camp for many years, as my older daughter went through MASH Camp as well. And so it's been really neat to just see how Bailey's flourished. She came home and she said, "Mom, did you know there's respiratory therapists?" And so that was really cool to see that and learn about that from her and her perspective. So
And your other daughter went through it. Did she stay? I mean, did
So,
MASH camp lead to a career in the medical
she
field?
actually did. She actually had ended in a job. Right now, she's a NICU secretary at Freeman and loves it, and is starting the nursing program. And so it really drove her to like start her passion in the medical field from a young age.
And it gives you an idea of other opportunities. I mean, you know, like you said, she's secretary in the NICU unit. Maybe she wants to work with babies, but there are other opportunities than just being, you know, a baby doctor, a pediatrician.
Correct. Yes. And I think that when you're in the hospital setting or you have a family member in the hospital, you think there's doctors and nurses. And so it's nice to be able to distinguish like, oh no, it's really like Heather said, a small city.
So, Bailey, let's talk about the experience. What would you say to other kids about going and why they might want to try this?
It just made me like learn more about what I want to do. Like we got on like a lot of hands-on stuff. Like we got to like do CPR on mannequins, and we got to dissect a cow eye and stuff, and look at the heart of a cow and stuff. So that was fun.
So, when it comes to working in medicine, I mean, are you intimidated by the idea of, oh, if I wanted to be a doctor, it could take 8 years? I mean, how does that influence you as to learning about the other options?
Not much, no. Like I'm really determined, but
So how does it maybe impact the classes you might take in school? Because in high school, you can start taking certain related classes. Has that changed what you might register for class-wise?
yeah, I really want to do anatomy. Since I'm only a sophomore, they don't offer that. But for junior and senior year, I'm looking forward to doing that.
And you know, you might not have thought to take that class
Yeah.
had you not gone through this and known, oh, it's important
Yeah.
to know anatomy and physiology. So, Mom, how do you think this is a good thing for helping your kids be on the career path? As a parent, do you think it makes a big difference?
Oh, it makes a huge difference. I think as kiddos, they go to the doctor and they experience kind of the patient side of it. So this really opens your eyes up to what is offered in the medical field, whether that be an x-ray or, you know, Missouri Southern has great programs here, even offered for them. You guys are hosting a day, I know, as well. And so it's neat that they get to go to each hospital, see different aspects of it, and really learn about, wow, there's more to medicine than just being a doctor or a nurse.
So you talked about cardiology, Bailey. What prompted that? I mean, are you a fan of TV medical shows? You know, what in your life may have made you think, I think I want to?
Well, I
Involved
was
in the
born with a VSD, which is like a hole in my heart. It's a heart condition, so I've always wanted to like learn more about that. I've always been like eager to learn more about that.
So for you, it's very personal
Correct.
to know about the heart.
Yes.
Well, that's interesting. And do you ever watch TV medical shows and kind of go, oh, I'm not sure that's realistic?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, so you went twice. What do you hope to learn this time?
More about other jobs. I love learning more about other jobs and just like hands-on stuff for doing dissections again. And I'm just excited to do that with my peers.
Well, and your mom mentioned respiratory care. I know they're going to be doing something with respiratory, so that'll be kind of fun for you to get involved in that as well. All right. Well, thank you both for being here and sharing the information you have.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you. Registration for MASH Camp is still open. Go online to AHEC, that's ahec.missouristate.edu/MASH-camp.htm. Now that concludes this edition of Newsmakers. I'm Lisa Alligas. Thanks for watching.